All right, up next, we're going to talk about probably the craziest BBC segment I've ever seen. The Conservative opposition leader, Kemi Badenoch, who is a right-of-center politician in UK politics, kind of an up-and-comer, the leader of the Conservative Party there. She went on the BBC. You've got one of the most important politicians in America, and they decided to frankly, like, harass her, not just ask her about it, not just bring it up, but harass her about this Netflix series, Adolescence, which is this British show that a 4-part series on Netflix. It's purely fictional, about a young boy who, spoiler alerts, gets kind of indoctrinated by like red pill alpha male ideology, and then tragically kills a young woman, one of his classmates. I watched it. I actually thought it was really good cinematically. Like, I thought it was an excellent piece of I guess TV, not film, but it's kind of feels more like a movie. I thought the message was fine. It talks about real problems of social isolation of young men, of kind of these fake gurus who mislead them. I mean, it is just fiction. It doesn't represent real events. It's not representative of real issues in the UK, because this kind of violence doesn't really happen. This incel violence is basically almost non-existent. And the real issue with knife crime in the UK is not 13-year-old boys who are like red pill or whatever. It's other groups and other situations. But regardless, I thought it was a really interesting, well-done show that talked about some topics, but I don't really understand getting angry at somebody because they haven't watched it. Yet that's what these BBC hosts did with Kemi Badenoch. Take a listen to this clip. It's really wild.
Have you watched Adolescence yet?
No, I haven't. I probably won't. It's a film on Netflix, and most of my time right now is spent visiting the country.
It's a 4-part series on Netflix, and everyone is talking about it. It is prompting conversations about toxic masculinity, smartphone use, young men feeling that they're being ignored, the idea of misogyny being increased in school. Why would you not want to know what people are talking about?
Well, I think that those are all important issues, and those were issues that I've been talking about for a long time. But in the same way that I don't need to watch Casualty to know what's going on in the NHS, I don't need to watch a specific Netflix drama to understand what's going on. It's a fictional series. It is not a documentary. What I've been talking about recently, for instance, is banning smartphones in schools. I've been going to schools all around the country. I was in Evesham just yesterday, talking to head teachers, talking to the students, and they talk about the problems that phones cause.
The difference this documentary has made compared to, say, a politician, any politician, leader of a party, the Prime Minister, going around talking in schools, is this has made much more of an impact than any politician has in terms of what people are talking about right now. So it's really confusing that you don't want to know how this has made an impact, how parents are now saying we need to know more about smartphone use.
I can read what people are saying about it. I look at research. This is something that I've been looking at for a long time.
You wouldn't want to know straight from the horse's mouth.
But telling me that I should go home and watch Netflix is you trying to tell me how to do my job. But I don't think that's how to do my job. I can read about that.
At what point did I tell you?
Well, you've just said that you were surprised that I haven't watched it. We don't have to watch a particular show to know what is going on in the country. I have met parents. I've met parents of children who've had those experiences. I have met children who've been victims. I think that is enough for me to go out there, make policy, look at the research.
Yeah,
but I don't think the right thing is to be deciding who has watched which show and working out whether that means that you were informed. There are many ways for us to be informed.
Adolescence has made more of an impact than any politician has on parents and when it comes to the issue of smartphones and misogyny, and yet you are saying, despite that, you don't need to know about it.
Well, no, I haven't said that I don't need to know about the issue.
You don't need to watch it.
I don't need to watch a specific show to know what is going on in this country. It's a fictional show.
Wow, so that was incredibly hostile and kind of unhinged. And I love how the BBC journalist who actually did watch it kept referring to Adolescence as a documentary, even though it's not. It's pure fiction. It's not based on a real story. It's not like a documentary. It's fiction. She's the one who has seen it and thinks it's so amazing, yet she's getting basic facts about it wrong. That Kemi Badenoch, who hasn't seen it, has those facts correctly. For understandable reasons, this exchange is blowing up on Twitter with people mocking it and criticizing the BBC for their bizarre behavior here. Spencer Clavin wrote, "The way this woman has to talk to her interviewers. It's like watching a grown-up gently explain to two toddlers that made-up stories aren't real. Astounding." Kat Rosenfield wrote, "This is like watching two hardcore 14-year-old boy band fans having a meltdown because their other, more bookish friend just said she didn't listen to the latest Backstreet Boys album." Kat, you're dating yourself there a little bit, my friend. Guy Benson wrote, I'd like to talk about the real-life RAPE gangs. Them. It's a scandal that you haven't Netflixed and chilled to our favorite fictional show. WTF is wrong with you? Can't believe this is real." Well, guys, it is real, and it is absolutely insane. Political discourse and conversations shouldn't be entirely based or obsessed with fiction. Things that didn't happen and aren't representative of actual common knife crime or violence in the UK. Like, it's wild that we even have to say that. I would be so annoyed because of how hideously biased so much of their coverage is if I was in the UK and I lived there and I had to pay their license fee or whatever. It's one thing to do like annoying left-wing media. It's quite another to force other people to pay for it as a public broadcaster. Yeah, that would be a hard pass for me if I were a Brit, but y'all have plenty of struggles going on over there. So far be it from me to tell you which ones to prioritize. And I'll just say this. How do these people not realize that the real issues covered in the show, cell phones, cyberbullying, masculinity, young men, male loneliness, all of this stuff is a real world problem in the sense that she's seeing it. She's literally going to schools. She's talking to parents whose kids have been bullied or victimized. Like, she's actually doing it, and these journalists are crashing out because she hasn't watched a Netflix show. It's bizarre. I'm honestly somewhat taken aback from it, but my expectations these days when it comes to mainstream journalism, they're really low. They're on the floor, basically. It's hard not to trip over them, but this one still stunned me, like how bad it was and how it's not even like if they just done the first 60 seconds of this, it would have been bad enough, but they kept going. Guys, I showed you a condensed, sped up clip of like a 5-minute thing. It is remarkable stuff. But Kemi Badenoch, obviously I'm sure I disagree with her on a whole host of issues. She's a cool operator. She's good at standing her ground and doesn't come off as aggressive or hostile, but is assertive and stands her own and just calmly makes them look like the crazy ones, because in this case, they are.